Solo Leveling, Episode 5, A Pretty Good Deal. The sterile air of the hospital room buzzed faintly with fluorescent lights, yet something was off. Something. Extraordinary. Nurse Choi Yura walked briskly down the corridor, her clipboard pressed tightly against her chest, but her pace slowed as she neared room 317. She'd made this trip a dozen times over the past few days, each time finding her thoughts more entangled with the patient inside. But today, something made her heart skip a beat. She pushed open the door, the gentle creak of the hinge slicing the silence, and there he was, Jinwoo. Only. He wasn't the frail, half-dead boy who had been brought in on a stretcher from the Cartanon Temple incident. His hospital gown clung to his frame in all the wrong ways, or rather, the right ones. Defined muscles traced along his arms, his shoulders were broader, and a calm strength glowed in his eyes. He had just finished doing push-ups in a hospital room. Sweat clung to his skin like morning dew on grass, and Yura couldn't help but blush. She fumbled with her words. You're, discharged today. Paperwork is at the front desk. Her voice cracked midway. Jinwoo gave a small, puzzled smile. Thank you, Nurse Choi. Is that all? She hesitated, then blurted, Could I get your number? Jinwoo blinked, genuinely confused. For hospital procedures? Yes, exactly, she lied, cheeks burning. He nodded innocently and handed it over. Outside, a different world bustled. Morning news buzzed in countless homes, but one particular TV lit up Jinwoo's modest apartment, where his younger sister, Gina, sat cross-legged chewing on toast. On screen, an S-rank hunter, Baek Yoon-ho, chuckled politely under studio lights. He looked effortless, deadly, and yet grounded. Even as a hunter, Beck said, I train daily. Old firefighter habits. Can't let the muscles sleep. Gina watched, yawning, and glanced at the time. Oppa, you're going to be late again. Footsteps padded behind her. When she turned, her eyes went wide. Jinwoo stood shirtless, towel over shoulder, drying his wet hair and looking taller, sharper, stronger. Are you working out or something? She asked, incredulously. Jinwoo looked sheepish. A bit. You even look taller, she said, narrowing her eyes. Did you drink some weird potion or something? He laughed and handed her an umbrella. Forecast said rain. Don't argue. Just take it. She grumbled but smiled and left. Alone now, Jinwoo sat on the bed and pulled up the system menu. Only he could see quests, stats, levels. He'd reached level 18, strength, agility, perception. He distributed his points methodically. Each number brought him closer to answers, to power, to freedom. But reality tugged at him. His phone rang. It was the landlord. About the rent, Jinwoo. Don't worry if you need more time. No, he said firmly. I'll pay, today. After the call, he opened job boards for hunters, and reality struck again. Even after everything, the world still saw him as an E rank, strong enough to crush D rank dungeons solo, maybe even C rank, but the paperwork, the guilds, the licenses, they still bound him. He had to lay low. Then he saw it. Temporary hire. E ranks welcome. C rank gate, construction site, easy haul, just need head count. It was dangerous, possibly shady, but it was money, and time was ticking. The gate shimmered like liquid glass in the unfinished building. The construction site's skeletal framework echoed the wind and a sense of foreboding. Jinwoo arrived wearing a hoodie, keeping his face low, his steps silent but purposeful. The other hunters were already there. Laughter, ridicule. That him? The weakest hunter? Didn't he nearly die last month? The leader raised a hand. Hwang Dong-suk. Shut up, he said, but smirked. Welcome, Sung Jinwoo. You're here to fill a spot. That's all. No need to fight unless you want to. Jinwoo nodded. There's no healer? Don't need one. These things are routine. We're professionals. Jinwoo hesitated, but the hunger for cash and his own growing confidence pushed him forward. He signed the waiver. Let's go. Among the group, a young man shuffled beside him. Clunky, too shiny armor that hadn't seen a scratch. 21 years old, with an awkward smile and boundless energy. I'm Yu Jinho, he said. You must be Jinwoo. Heard about you. Good things? Rumors, but you don't look weak to me. Jinwoo smiled faintly. Neither do you. Expensive gear. Family's rich. My brother's a guild master. I just want to be a hunter on my own terms. The gate shimmered. They stepped through. Darkness. The inside of the dungeon was silent, still suffocating. Jinwoo's breath fogged slightly and memories clawed at him. The Cartanon Temple, the statues, the screams, the sacrifice. He shook his head. Focus. No glowstones, no monsters, nothing. Except something. He felt it in his bones. Instinct. They reached a fork. Jinwoo froze. Above us, he said suddenly. Too late. A swarm of chittering insect-like beasts dropped from the ceiling. Screeches echoed. The hunters fought back, swift and brutal. Despite their arrogance, they were competent. Jinho barely flinched, his armor held strong, and Jinwoo noted how the younger man stuck close, not out of cowardice, but out of trust. Still, something was off. This dungeon felt wrong. Too big, too empty, too planned. In the distance, Baek Yoon-ho shattered stone with his bare hands. S-rank, untouchable, a different world. Deeper in the dungeon, Jinwoo wiped green blood off his blade. Jinho chatted beside him, trying to lighten the mood. Ahead, a cavern glowed faintly. Mana stones. Piles of them. And at the center, sleeping, pulsing softly, was a giant spider the size of a bus. Its abdomen rose and fell with slow, sinister breaths. Damn jackpot, muttered one of the hunters. Jinho spoke up. We split the mana stones evenly, right? Huang smiled. Of course. But first, let's deal with the boss. He turned. You two stay here. We'll get the excavation tools. Jinwoo narrowed his eyes. Something in Huang's tone. He reached for his blade. Boom. The ceiling behind them exploded inward. Rocks fell like thunder. Dust swallowed the air. Trapped. Jinho stumbled, coughing. What the hell? Jinwoo didn't answer. His eyes were locked on the spider. Its eyes were opening. They'd been betrayed. The spider's mandibles clicked. The air trembled. A primal fear surged through Jinho's voice. Why? Why would they do this? Jinwoo stepped forward slowly. They needed bait. You're calm? We'll die here. Jinwoo's expression hardened. The scars of Cartanon Temple hadn't left him. The fear, the helplessness, the screaming faces of comrades who died because he was weak. Not again. I'll handle it, he said quietly. Stay behind me. Jinho's voice cracked. You can't be serious. That thing will... But Jinwoo was already moving. No more hesitation. No more pretending. The system pulsed beneath his skin. Muscles coiled. His steps echoed louder than the spider's chittering limbs. The fight was his. The spider lunged. Jinwoo ducked under a leg the size of a tree trunk, rolled and drove his blade upward. Sparks flew as metal scraped exoskeleton. The spider screeched, venom flying from its fangs, melting stone. Jinwoo's HP dropped. Poison. Pain. But he pushed through, activating his skills, dodging like a shadow. He wasn't the same man who knelt before the statues, begging for life. He was the man who survived. The man who would rise. The chamber echoed with battle. Steel, screams, fire. At one point, the spider pinned Jinwoo. Acid dripped into his face. He gritted his teeth. With a roar, he stabbed upward, into its mouth. The creature shrieked once, spasmed, and fell. Dead. Silence. Jinho collapsed in relief. You killed it. Alone. Jinwoo stood, bloodied, breathing hard. Barely. Jinho looked at him, awe in his voice. Who are you? Jinwoo didn't answer. Instead, he stared at the blocked exit. They were still trapped. But this time, he had the strength to dig them out. End of episode 5, a pretty good deal.